Hi everyone, welcome to Fat to Thin Senior RNY. I'm Raven. I'm 76 years old and I've had gastric bypass surgery in December 16, 2019. Medicaid approved the surgery. Last week I talked about the mental struggle I had to enter Wonderland and dealing with the scale. That was a trial. In this vlog I'll be talking about staying in Wonderland. I'm really close to the edge and constantly thinking about food. I just seem to be thinking about food a lot. If you're curious, please join me on this journey and continue to watch, and please comment. I'm almost afraid to eat and try new things, mostly because I keep throwing up stuff, or it just hurts, or it doesn't feel good, or, whatever. I'm not really feeling hungry, although I seem to be looking for something to eat around 11 o'clock, and then again around 3 o'clock, and then something to munch before I go to bed around 8 o'clock, I don't know if this is a pre-surgery habit or something I've just developed, I used to do intermittent fasting, but I wouldn't eat anything until around 1 o'clock. So I don't really know. I mean, I only did the intermittent fasting for about 6 months. And I would get up in the morning and I'd make a cup of tea, usually a bulletproof tea of some kind, although now I'm drinking just regular decaf tea. Habit of drinking tea since I was like 5 or so. So it's comforting to me and it feels good and it doesn't bother my stomach and I get in my liquids and all of that good stuff, But I don't know. I mean, 11 and 3 is kind of strange, I find that I can eat about 2 ounces at a time, depending upon what it is. I mean, if it's like beans or something that's not like bean soup, for instance, I can eat 3 ounces, probably because of the liquid, but just the beans themselves, I could only eat about 2. I find that there's about 4 hours between when I eat the last time and when I'm looking for something to eat the next time. And, excuse me, and there's about 5 ounces total all day long that I can eat. Anything more than that and my stomach starts hurting and I feel like I want to toss my cookies, if I had cookies. So I just kind of stay around 4 ounces, 5 ounces. I weigh everything. I mean, absolutely weigh everything. I found that the 2-ounce cups hold 1 ounce of shredded cheese. So it's better to weigh it. And you know exactly what you've eaten. And you don't overestimate the amount of protein and things like that that you get. I'm still throwing up occasionally, but I'm not as much as I was. I'd say once every other day, maybe 2 days, I'll go without throwing up. But usually it's about once every other day. And I've learned not to put that extra spoonful in my mouth, or at least most of the time, because when I don't listen is when I throw up, so hey. Anyway, the thing too is that when I am throwing up, I'm not doing it all day long. Like I used to throw up like starting at 10 o'clock in the morning when I ate something. And I would throw up until 5 o'clock at night, and so therefore not really eat anything. I think most days when I was doing that heavy throwing up, I was eating maybe 150, 200 calories a day, and that includes the protein shakes and everything else, So I'm up to close to 500, well, more like 400 calories per day. But I feel satisfied. I feel okay. I feel like I can walk. I can do things. I'm not dizzy. My heart is not racing as much. And I'm doing pretty good. I'm keeping an eye on the potassium and the magnesium, as well as the protein and stuff. I am having problems getting in enough protein, as I said, and water. I think protein generally stays, if I get a lot, it's maybe 20 grams. But I am making 6 cups of liquid per day, so I don't feel like I'm dehydrated or anything like that. But the desire for something to eat at night hasn't left at all. I'm still looking for something to put in my face at night. I don't have a clue what it is or why I want something, or because I'm not hungry, I'm not nothing. I think it's just a habit, and I need to stop doing that. I mean, the last couple of days I've taken an ounce of, or even a half an ounce of cheese to bed with me. Cheese is a slider for me. I really need to not do that, or keep it in the house, or that kind of stuff. But anyway, and I found that Rowley is sitting on the bed trying to get to the munchies, so I don't need to generate a new habit in him for sure. So I need to stop that. I need to stop that for my sake and for his sake. But I'm looking for something. I don't know why. I walk past the refrigerator, open the door, you know, that kind of thing. I just haven't got a clue. I'm down to 1 minute between bites and a half an hour after eating so that I can drink something. So now the 1 minute between bites feels like I'm shoving food in my face. I got used to the 2.5 minutes, you know. But I found that if I don't use the timer on my phone, if I don't use the timer, I will sit there and just keep shoveling stuff in my face and not even pay attention. So the timer for me is a real help to pay attention to what I'm eating, you know, and the fact that I am eating. It's probably one of the reasons I got as fat as I did, because I would just sit there and shove stuff in my face and not even realize I was eating anything. And anyway, I've been thinking about eating all the time. I've been thinking about food, and I've been dreaming about food. I've been thinking that I think about eating and drinking, eating more food than I did before the surgery. I don't think that before the surgery I gave a damn whether I ate anything or not, and I didn't care what it was. I figured, oh, at this point I need to eat something, let me go get something and throw it in my face, and that's about it. And I did not sit around and think about food all day long. I just didn't. But now I am, and I'm dreaming about it too. I found myself the last week, I've been watching YouTube videos. I don't know, somehow or other I got hooked into, I just started watching YouTube videos. And I mean, from morning to night, I was watching food shows. Every single video I looked at was about food, preparing food, doing something different with food, cooking food from the 1800s, international street foods, baking shows, you name it. I mean, I've been looking at it. I have no idea why. Not that I'm into cooking or anything, because I'm not. Not that I'm even hungry. It's just that I've been watching food shows on the computer. I didn't stop thinking about food. Well, in fact, when I realized that I was watching all of these shows, just food shows, one food show after another, I decided, you know, maybe that's why I'm dreaming about food. That's why I'm thinking about food so much. So let me consciously not look at some of those shows, period. Well, after about a couple of hours, I started feeling deprived. Now, it's funny that I didn't feel deprived about the food itself. I mean, except right now I'm kind of missing Chinese, but I'm not feeling deprived about the food, but I was feeling deprived about not being able to look at the shows about food, which is totally insane as far as I can tell. I don't know where my thinking is going, but it's doing something strange. You know, so anyway, last night, no, it was the day before yesterday, Wednesday, I started thinking about Chinese food. Thinking, well, you know, I could go over to the Chinese restaurant and get a small bowl of soup, maybe a spoonful of fried rice to see if I could eat rice. And maybe something else, you know, a couple of other things, you know, just to see if I could eat them. But I said to myself, don't do that. That's crazy. You know, it's just really out in the deep forest someplace. You really don't need it. You've got a house full of food right now. I mean, just eat what's in the house, you know. Don't spend any more money going out and buying more food that you end up throwing away. And then there's also the other thing is that I'm afraid to try more foods, more solid foods. Every time that almost every time I've tried something more solid than puree. Well, some of them have lumps in them, but more solid than a lumpy food that's mostly pureed, I've thrown it up. And not only did I throw it up, but it hurt. It physically hurt. And, you know, so I'm saying to myself, well, just hang loose. There's no mad rush, you know. Then there's a matter of buying something. So do I go to the store, like go to the Chinese restaurant, and I buy a cup of something? Well, that cup is going to last me 4 meals, you know, so it'd be kind of crazy for me to go get some soup and then get some rice and then get some, you know, whatever on the side, some vegetables or whatever, because it's going to take me a week to eat it, you know. And then so it's useless to really go to a restaurant. Although, like I said, I've been craving Chinese food. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't know how to cook Chinese food, because I do. I could make some for myself. It's like I'm waiting. It's just really strange. I'm waiting for my body to get past the ability to eat only pureed food so that I could just jump right into eating fried chicken. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean, obviously I have to eat little pieces of solid food so that my stomach can get used to doing its thing again, right? But meanwhile, my mind is saying you really should stay with the soft stuff and not get involved in hurting yourself anymore, you know. So, like I said, so I've been thinking about Chinese. I'm going to go maybe this afternoon and get some hot and sour soup and maybe a small spoonful of fried rice and maybe a chicken tender and some vegetables to see what I can eat and what I can't. See what, you know, I mean, obviously I can chew it. I don't know if I can eat it, you know, if it stays down once it's down there. And then, of course, you know, you think of the cost. I go to a Chinese restaurant, I spend $10, you know, because I go at lunchtime, go at dinner time. And I take off at the buffet and not order something specific. But, you know, then I'm thinking, well, I've got rice, I've got eggs, I've got onions, I've got soy sauce. I can make my own fried rice, right? Because what I'm really doing is craving rice, I believe. And I think rice is my comfort food. You know, some people are into mac and cheese, and I'm into rice. Rice and fish in particular. But there's the cost of that too. I mean, if I cook one of those, if I cook up a pot of rice, I have to make a full-size pot because I have to put an egg in it. And if I put 1 egg in a half a cup of rice, it's mostly egg and not rice, you know what I mean? So, and then, so I end up throwing that out too. I don't know what the difference would be between cooking it myself and just going and buying something to find out if I could eat it. So, I don't know. I think I'll go find out if buy something. That way I can try a couple of different things. And it's going to cost me the same amount of money anyway. The problem here is that the waste is high, and I'm not into throwing away food, you know. That's really hurts my heart to do that, you know. And then I look at other countries where people are starving, and of course my mother used to say, you know, those kids in Africa, you know, you should eat it and blah. You know the story, wherever it is you come from. I don't know what to do. I think, though, that I am sick and tired of eating what I've been eating. I figured that today I've been on some kind of a pureed liquid diet for a total of 8 weeks, because you got to count the week before I got the surgery to now, and that's a total of 8 weeks. So 8 weeks I've been eating things like bone broth, yogurt, shepherd's pie, Panera cheese soup, etc. The refrigerator is full of things like hummus and jello and pudding. I don't want any of it. After all, I've been eating the same thing for 2 months. So I think I'm going to brave up today and go to the Chinese restaurant and see what I can eat. That way I can try a couple of different things to see if I can eat it. And then I'll know where I'm at. And I can go to next week without constantly thinking of food. I was dreaming last night about the Chinese restaurant. I had originally decided before I went to bed that I was going to go and get some soup. A little container of soup and a little container of rice. Just a couple of spoonfuls, and you know, it'd probably charge me $1 for that. By the time I woke up, I had dreamed that I had gotten a takeout tray and a large soup, and I had filled up that tray with everything under the sun, knowing full well that there is no way in hell that I could eat all of that, or most of it, or even, well, some of it, yeah, but that's about it. But I was literally dreaming about walking through the Chinese restaurant, picking up different kinds of foods, looking at cookies, looking at ice cream. Now, I tell you, I haven't had an urge for cookies, ice cream, sweets of any kind at all. In fact, sweets have been kind of, especially with the protein stuff, oh my God. It's just too much, you know. Anyway, today I'm feeling good. My heart rate is still up a little bit. Blood pressure is still up a little bit. Diabetes is gone. It's down to 0. You know, I mean down to 5, which is normal. I managed to stay off of the scale until today. And today I weigh 198.4. So I've lost 1 pound, 4 ounces. Now to me that sounds like, oh my God, am I stalling out? Oh, what is happening here? But that's because the first 2 weeks when I was throwing up like crazy, I was losing 5 pounds because I wasn't eating anything. I was fasting for 2 weeks, you know. So I need to get my head together. Hey, and I am walking every day. I'm walking twice a day with Rowley. I'm walking faster and I'm walking further. So I'm started dreaming about running again, about trying to figure out how I'm going to start running and what to do with Raleigh when I run. And should I leave him home? Should I take him to the gym? Should I go over to the weight room we have here, exercise room, or should I just run the roads? Which probably is better, because then he gets to find a different place to sniff and that kind of stuff. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm hiccuping. I haven't eaten anything yet today. Anyway, so the Rowley report. Rowley wants to play all day. He's acting like a puppy. Since I got him to learn how to play and fetch a ball, he has been crazy. He wants to play all day long. He wants me to throw that ball. It's just terrible. I made a few puzzles, because I told you last week I was looking up at some puzzles. He wants to play with those puzzles before breakfast. He doesn't want to eat the kibbles that I put down in a bowl. He doesn't want kibbles at all, period. He wants whatever it is that I put into the puzzle, which is usually things like chicken jerky. I break it up into tiny little pieces. And he'll play with that puzzle for an hour, trying to get those pieces out of that thing. So now he has established a routine for himself, I've noticed in the last 3 days, is that he wants me to get up, we go out for a walk, come back, he wants his puzzle, and then he wants to play with his ball all day, every day. And that's the routine he wants. And if I don't get up right away, for instance, and get dressed and let's go outside, then he will sit there and bark at me like, hurry up, what's the matter with you? Let's get going, I don't know, he's really, really, really active. So what he's really doing now is he's not eating breakfast. He's not eating his kibbles. He wants the jerky. I give him 1 piece of chicken jerky per day. I have raw food, dehydrated raw dog food toppers that I put on his dog food at night. I put 10 pieces on at night. But I've also started sometimes giving him 10 pieces in the morning in one of the puzzles, because he's not eating breakfast. So I don't think that I'm overfeeding him. And he is so active. He wants to jump and run and carry on constantly. I don't think I'm giving him enough exercise to tire him out. And then again, why do you want a tired dog? Why would you want? So I don't know. My mind plays strange stuff on me sometimes. So anyway, to sum this whole deal up, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm still glad I did the operation. I'm looking forward to feeling better every day. I have grown out of my favorite black jean skirt. It actually fell off of my hips. I put it on over my head one day, and it fell to the floor. Now the thing is I had already connected 3 of the belt loops in the back to kind of tighten the thing so that it wouldn't fall off of my hips, but there it went. So anyway, please like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and don't forget to click the show more just to check out the description below. I found some really unusual things. Well, one thing was that I have a friend who is a chef, which is pretty nice actually. She's brought me over some pureed split pea soup that was just divine, and some black bean curry she pureed that was just unbelievable. And she brings them in the little 2-ounce cups, But anyway, she's the chef, and she told me about these these people who build tiny ovens with tiny little bricks, and they make little pizzas and whatever. They actually cook in these ovens. So I put a link down below because I couldn't believe it. It was just amazing. This guy built this tiny oven and made a pizza about the size of a $50 in it, Anyway, and I also found a thing called it's like a food mold. I had never considered. I mean, here I am on the puree diet, or still am, whatever. And it never occurred to me that there are people who will never, ever, ever be able to eat anything other than pureed food for the rest of their life. And so they have things like pureed food molds to make the pureed food look like what it is. Like, for instance, if it's carrots, and then you've got your carrots all pureed, and so you stick it in the mold and then you put it on the plate. Well, it looks like carrots. And I had never considered how important the look of the food is to me. I mean, I know how to plate food. foods, make it look pretty and all that kind of stuff. But I just never realized how important it was to me. So anyway, I put the link below. Check it out. So as I said before, please like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Don't forget to click show more to check the descriptions below. And you take care of yourselves. And you have a great day, and blessed be.